The Seollal Lunar New Year holiday is just around the corner. However, because of high inflation, preparing for holiday food has become even more of a burden. For more details, we have our economic correspondent Shin Ha-young here with us in the studio. Hello, Ha-young.
Good evening, Jung-min.
So just how much more money do we have to spend for a Charye table this year?
Well, Jung-min, I'd first like to point out that while the price of the item for the Charye table has increased already overall, some items have actually dropped in price. Compared to last year, the cost of fruits and nuts has fallen by around 10%, while livestock prices are up almost 6%. So savvy shoppers might put more fruits and nuts and less meat on their Charye tables. And according to recent data released by Korea Price Information, groceries for a Charye table for a family of 4 are expected to cost 254,500 Korean won at traditional markets. That's roughly $205. The price has gone up by 4.1% from last year, and the situation in large supermarkets isn't much different, with prices rising to 359,741 or about $290. An expert from KPI explains how this year's unique economic conditions have led to some items increasing in price while others have got cheaper. Let's take a listen.
Prices of agricultural products like fruits, nuts, and vegetables, which have seen an increase in production, have fallen compared to last year. On the other hand, prices of livestock products and processed foodstuffs have risen. This is mainly because of a rise in prices of raw materials like global grain and oil prices, which have been affected by the war in Ukraine.
He added that there was also relatively less demand last year due to the social distancing measures. However, for this year, the demand has risen as it is the first Lunar New Year holiday without those restrictions, and that this has pushed prices up.
Right, Ha-young, and it must be a concern for people who cannot just decide to skip one of the longest held traditions for many Koreans. So what is the view by the public in general?
Well, Jung-min, I talked to some grocery shoppers, and most of them were feeling the cost burden already, and some are even planning to keep their Charye tables simple.
I noticed that food prices have really increased, especially with the jump in vegetable prices. With the same amount of money, I was able to purchase enough groceries last year, but not this year. For the Charye table, I think people prefer buying ready-made products instead, as that is more convenient, and for me, they even taste better.
This change was also reflected in the data. According to a recent survey conducted by Incred, a local online job placement portal, 2/3 of the respondents said they will simplify their Charye tables by either reducing the types of food or using ready-made items. And in fact, during last Chuseok, Korea's other major holiday, sales of ready-made items at one of the largest supermarkets in South Korea jumped 22% from the year before.
Many have skipped setting the Charye table for the last 2 years after the COVID-19 outbreak. Ahead of resuming the ritual, some are trying to simplify the food table. The Seongyungan Confucian Association announced details of a simplified Seollal table setting last Monday, aiming to maintain desirable spirits by suggesting a less complicated way. I think it will continue.
And Ha-young, we heard this from our Han-sung a little bit earlier, but how is the government gearing up for higher prices? What are the measures?
The government unveiled some extra measures to tame prices earlier this month, and including increasing the food supply. Let's take a listen.
We will try to lower the prices of 16 commodities that are in high demand, including apples, pears and pork, by supplying 208,000 tons of goods, which is the most ever, and providing 30 billion Korean won for discounts.
That's more than $24 million allocated for lowering prices. And as part of the efforts, shoppers buying groceries at traditional markets will receive a rebate of up to 30% of the purchase amount in a form of gift certificates. Meanwhile, there are some concerns as the soaring prices have been driven by external factors, and the simply raise the liquidity could end up leading to higher inflation. However, an expert I spoke to said that in response to higher demand, raising supply prevents prices from skyrocketing, and as a result, prices of certain groceries like chicken have already stabilized.
All right, Ha-young, thank you for the report.
Thank you.